Yo, what's up, guys? You got pokeaim here, coach of the Bronx Beartics, with my week week six, I think, team builder for the GBA. This week we're taking on Geo, coach of the San Francisco GiEnteis. So I built this team with my boy Gypsy King and Matty Brolic, so big shout outs to them. And I also am bringing two new Pokemon this week. I already made a video earlier in the week about the trades I made, or transactions, whatever you want to call them, but we will be bringing Magnezone as well as Lickilicky in this game. So looking at his team, he has a lot of mons that are kind of unpredictable. I think the two that the three that offensively scare me the most are Mew, because Mew can literally do whatever it wants. It can run Ice Beam, it can run Status, it can be defensive defog, which I don't think is bad, though alternatively he could run something like HP Ice, Scizor, which can defog technically, but I don't know if you'd run defog Scizor because I do have a Magnezone, and I'm also not sure what EV spread he'll do with this Scizor, because versus Chimpact, when Chimpact had Magnezone, his Scizor didn't outspeed Magnezone. Of course he doubled around and whatnot, but yeah, that was just something to note. And as well as Haxorus. Haxorus is such a big problem because he made it his Zmon. Originally I believe it was Blacephalon, but he gave them to Haxorus now, and Haxorus can be a giant problem. Blacephalon is also an issue. I have some checks for it though, for sure. And Ditto, which means that any chance that I really have at a sweep, Ditto just copies. So I got a bunch of threats there, and then defensively he has Toxapex plus Dougie. Wow. Dougie's a big one because Magnezone and Salazzle, which I am obviously bringing, are pretty much forced to run Shed Shell. Even if he doesn't bring Dougie, just having Dougie on paper forces me to prep a certain way. And obviously Shaman can also be a bit unpredictable. It could be Specs, it could be Subseed, Life Orb, Scarf with Healing Wish. So a bunch of things there that can definitely be threats. So let's talk about my team a bit. So the first member we have is Rhydon. Now, with Adamant 4 attack investment, I 2-hit KO at +2, guaranteed max defense, max HP Scizor. That's not to say that he'd be running that, though if he does run that with HP Ice, it beats Zygarde forms always. So that's just something that was in the back of my mind that we wanted to check. But the HP and defense lets me take on +1 Haxorus, Z-move, Tectonic Rage. Spadef helps with Blacephalon, and speed was there just in case he wants to creep a little bit on Toxapex. I do outspeed it, and at +2 with Earthquake, I knock it out. I'm not sure what type of Toxapex he would actually run versus me, because Fizdef and Spadef are both interesting. Fizdef makes a lot of sense too because I have Mega Gyarados, so he could have Taunt on it if he wants to. I mean Haze, excuse me. I'm talking about I could run Taunt on it. But yeah, this is just something that just breaks through his team, and Rhydon just really does not care about Pex at all. At +2, this thing is knocking out Pex, and it's a reliable stealth rocker in this game. Rock Blast is good because if he leads Archeops and I have Rhydon as a lead, I can go for Rock Blast, and if it is Sash Archeops, I can potentially take it down. It's also how it's versus Sub Blacephalon, and just also lets me damage Shaman for neutral, as well as Rotom Fan for super effective damage. So, next up we have Whitley, the Whimsicott. Now, this set was a little bit of a toss-up. Choice Scarf was the one we decided on, and with Infiltrator. Now, Infiltrator is really cool because if he brings Subseed Shaman, I can switcheroo it through the sub, and basically just give it, or lock it into whatever move it goes for. Same thing with Blacephalon, of course. If Blacephalon is his Z user, then he can't do that, but that's just something that, the reason I wanted that. Moonblast is, this is basically my way of revenge killing Haxorus. So Moonblast allows me to take on Haxorus, and then U-turn just gives me momentum. This thing does force switches. For example, if I have it out versus Haxorus, he's probably going to switch out to Mega Scizor or Toxapex, Pokemon like that. And now I decided on Defog. Originally, Shadow Ball was there over Defog, and I like Shadow Ball because it allowed me to hit Blacephalon as well as Mew. Mainly Blacephalon. It does a ton of damage to Blacephalon. It does a little bit of chip to Mew, but then again, you have no idea what type of Mew you'd run. But it let me hit that. But I was really worried about webs, though I don't think they're the biggest issue when it comes to most of his team. The only reason that webs really scared me was because of Haxorus. Again, I have Pokemon that can potentially take hits at +1, but it leaves a big dent in my team. So I want a Defog, even though it's not Prankster Defog in this game. It's a Scarf Defog, just in case he did bring Rabombi. Quiver Dance Rabombi with HP Ground Moonblast is actually a huge threat versus my team. It's really good versus my team. So That's also something I could switch a roof. He's not running a ton of speed, which he doesn't necessarily need to versus me. But I don't know. Then again, you probably want it to be faster than Salazzle, so I probably wouldn't outspeed that anyway. But yeah, it was a toss-up between Shadow Ball and Defog, and in testing, Defog just ended up working more. So that's why we opted for that. So next up, we have Chimp, the Magnezone. So this Magnezone, originally it was Volt Switch, and then the 3 attacks you always run on Magnezone, HP Fire, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon. But I figured that Magnet Rise is a lot better, especially if I use it versus something like Toxapex if he wants to do that, or like a slow Scizor and he doesn't have any attack to hit me. And this can work even like maybe in trading, like if I don't want to knock out Scizor. The reason this is pretty cool is because Shaman's probably forced to run HP Ice versus me. The only attack he could actually hit Magnezone with for, super effective damage, I mean an Oko, if that obviously would be Earth Power. So Magnet Rise is really cool, and also in the same thing that Flash Cannon 2-hit KOs Haxorus. And Haxorus I'm pretty sure is bringing Poison Jab in this game because it hits Whimsicott, Earthquake, and then Dragon Move, and it can be Devastating Drake, Poison Z, Mental Herb if he expects me to have Encore on Whimsicott and he just wants to try and set up with that. Obviously you can still use your Z move after, but that just means you don't have to use a Z. So Magnet Rise is pretty cool because even like a Choice Scarf Dugtrio or Dugtrio in the back or whatever, I can go for that Magnet Rise. They can't touch me for 5 turns. And Haxorus is forced to go for the Devastating Drake if it does want to hit me. If he does have that, or an Outrage, which even if he has something like Sticky Web up, I can still go Whimsicott after because he's locked in Outrage. And basically Revenge kill him with Moonblast. I was about to say Moongeist Beam. I do not have a Lunala. That'd be really fire, actually. Let me just draft Lunala next time. But HP Fire is there for Scizor. Again, if he's running Speedy Scizor, he will outspeed me. But it's just Magnezone is too good to not bring, especially because he does have that Scizor. And it just versus defense, like versus his team defensively, Toxapex, Mega Scizor, and Mew, if it's not running like a Fire move or Earth Power, Magnezone just does really, really well. So I wanted to bring it. That also helps me check Rotom Fan, Groundless, Archeops, things like that. Checks Rabombi as well if it's not running the HP Ground, which is something I'm really worried about. I'm actually so worried about that originally this Lickilicky was Wish, Protect, Dragon Tail, and Heal Bell. And Heal Bell's really nice because, again, he does have that status pressure from potentially Toxapex. Mew can run Will-O-Wisp or whatever it wants to. So Heal Bell was pretty cool there, and the idea was this Mon does not care. Because I'm Oblivious, I can't be taunted, so if it's like Stall Breaker Mew, it's not a problem. I just keep Wish Protecting, Dragon Tailing him out. The Dragon Tail's nice too because it stops something like Haxorus from setting up. And like I said, I went with Fire Punch over Heal Bell. We'll see if I actually end up regretting it, but I went with Fire Punch over Heal Bell because, one, it 2 KOs Rabombi, so it doesn't let that thing set up. 2, if he is a fast setup Scizor, at least I can do some damage. Or if he wants to go for Superpower, that won't knock me out, and Fire Punch would do a ton to him. So that could help out Rhydon's case or Whimsicott in the late game. And the Spadef helps me eat 2 Fire Blasts from Scarf Blacephalon after Rocks with Protect. So that's why that will be helping me out. And the 4 attack ensures that I always break a Shaman sub with Fire Punch. That's something that I wanted to bring because I thought Subsea Shaman was something he could really bring versus me. We named it after Gypsy King, by the way. But I like this Pokemon a lot, and I'm hoping that it starts to, it shows in this game and the games to come, that it's a good draft pick. I really think Lickilicky is a good draft pick, and especially with my division that I have Jolt, Lars, and Aaron. I think specifically versus Aaron, it's really solid versus his team. Because of its ability to neutralize the rain and the effects of it, basically. So, well, basically the effects of the rain. But yeah, so Wish Protect, Dragon Tail, Fire Punch. Dragon Tail lets me phase him. I only have Rocks as my hazards. I'm not bringing Spikes this time, just because like Defog Mew could be a thing, Defog Scizor, and also Ditto can like copy me. The great thing about this thing is this Pokemon does not care about Ditto at all. Like, I can always go this mon, or if Ditto comes out on me, I just Wish and Dragon Tail spam, or Wish past something else. Like, the best thing he can do is Dragon Tail or Fire Punch. He can't beat me 1v1. He has 5 PP on all his moves, whereas I have more. So this can do a lot of work. Next up, we have Zygarde. Now, this Zygarde is meant to outspeed defensive Mew, defensive Shaman, and basically, Spadef lets me take on Blacephalon really well. And the idea is sub, protect, 1000 waves, Toxic. Now this is pretty cool because this can trap something like Shaman, for example, even HP Ice from Shaman, especially if it's a more defensive set, which is something I could see him running, because you don't switch in too well to Bandit 1,000 Arrows, for example, if I brought that. Oh man, I just had a random voice crack, my bad. I'm still sick, so forgive me. But yeah, that's something I could see him bringing. Or even, like, in general, this is just solid because it traps whatever comes out. Like, for example, let's say he has, like, Berry on Toxapex and wants to Toxic me. He's trapped. Scizor, if it doesn't have U-Turn, it's trapped. Though I think it should have U-Turn always versus a team with Magnezone. But Sub Protect, Toxic 1,000 Waves. Basically, I 1,000 Waves so he can't leave. I Toxic Shaman, I Sub Protect stall it. And this can just do a lot of work versus him. Pokemon like regular Scizor's Bullet Punch without attack investment isn't breaking my sub. It can, if I'm behind a sub, like I beat Haxorus 1v1, I can beat Blacephalon, so it gets like subs a lot in the game, which is why I liked it a lot. And I thought it'd be better than a setup one just because obviously he has Ditto. And this is another thing, like I can sub, and if Ditto comes in after, it can't copy me because I'm behind a sub, and I can Toxic, stall it and whatnot. It also can't click Scarf Transform. I'm pretty sure you always bring Scarf Ditto if you bring Ditto. But, yep, I really like the Zygarde set versus him, and I thought it can do work. And last but not least, we have Aberforth, my Salazzle. Now, I like this because its ability to Toxic literally everything and without fail, and also without the chance of missing, which is, you know, without fail, is amazing. So, being able to Toxapex, for example, that means that sub Zygarde beats it always. I mean, it'll beat it always anyway, but like it can't recover stall me. Being able to Toxic Mega Scizor is pretty cool too. I mean, why the hell would you ever bring a Mega Scizor on me? But basically, because I'm a poison type, Toxic is never ever gonna miss. It really helps it out. Probably my best bet of Toxicing Mew as well, and I don't have to worry about Synchronize because you can't poison me back. I think it works that way. I think actually if you poison a Magic Bounce user with and you have Corrosion, you get poison. I'm not 100% sure, so maybe you would Synchronize. No, it shouldn't work because it doesn't. I don't think so. We'll test that out. But the speed was just needed to creep like the fastest mon I could, which is under Dougie, and because basically Dougie and Rabambi will always outspeed me, but outspeeding Pokemon like Blacephalon is just in my best interest in Archeops, obviously. So knockoff is cool too because being able to get rid of Black Sludge, Shed Shell. Well, Shed Shell doesn't really make sense because he's a Mega Scizor, but Black Sludge, Shuckleberry, things like that, leftovers. Allows Salazzle to have a little bit of leeway. The HP investment lets me take +2 Scizor's attack after rocks, always. I can't KO me with max attack Bullet Punch, if I'm not mistaken, with the HP investment and defense. And I thought it'd be really solid, especially with my Zygarde. So that's the team. You guys can go and check out Geo. His link will be down below. I'm excited for this game. We're currently on a win streak, and what else I want to say? He's not in my division, but he's in my conference. So, like, all these games in my division / conference are mattering because we're all contending for playoffs. I'm fighting more within my division for playoffs, but even his wins and whatnot. Like, if I lose or if someone on my team loses versus anyone in his conference, and his conference is Envy, Geo, Crimson Seabat, and Necrostevo, if I'm not mistaken, or Coach Z. It's one of those. Basically, when one of us loses, we help their chance out, and when they lose, they help our chance out. So, like, we're all fighting back and forth. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys with the battle. It should be up Sunday. I'm going to say around 2 p.m. because that's the time I usually ask people to upload. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Go Bronx Beartics.